Phoenix.
Wake up, it's time to see the love within, the heart that's free, free, free.
Please stop trying to have everyone love you. Do you really believe you can be a person everybody loves when even Jesus, recognized as a key respectable being by more than 3 monotheist religions, was not and is still not loved by everyone? Whatever you do, people will criticize you. Whatever you wear, people will criticize you. Whatever you have, people will criticize you. Whatever you give, people will criticize you. Whatever you say, people will criticize you. Whatever you think, people will criticize you. Whatever you believe, people will criticize you. Whoever you are, people will criticize you. So just be unique, be yourself. Believe it or not, I know you will be much happier being yourself. Everyone is unique, but few realize it, and more than 99% of people are just mainly copycats. Do you think you need to follow others in their world all life long? Or are you free enough to think you can become a leader and you have the right to shape your own world? Please learn to and start to perceive who you really are and embody it enough to give birth to your true self. Waking up is an action on yourself. Wake up yourself. Some listeners may like to get to the point when listening to this podcast. Somehow, I went to the point with the preamble in the 2 first episodes, and if you think I got it, you might be right. But what if the rest of the podcast was enabling you to better get it? What is this podcast about? Well, there will be 3 moments. 1. Wake up. It is about getting to know yourself through self-analysis and loving everything you are and all the elements of your journey. Goal: to wake up and recognize yourself as a true human being. 2. Be free. Here, it will be a question of how to be a true human being while continuing the exchanges with those whose journey is not over. Objective: to continue to live in society and avoid isolating oneself. 3. Become: if happiness is not to be everything you want to be or to have everything you may have, you must have the ambition to find your way and to act to carry out projects one after the other. Goal: to achieve some success in life and be recognized and proud. If you already have the intuition of all that remains to be listened to in the next episodes, you can stop listening to it and recommend it to someone less awake than you. Otherwise, don't worry. I still try to get to the point in the following few episodes which are easy to listen to. The concise aspect of this podcast is the result of my synthesis skill.
Awakening in itself.
April 14, 2025, 5 years after I wrote the initial version of this text, I decided to empower myself to transform it into a sellable book and a podcast. Why would I not make money from it after all? And if I don't, why would I bother? Why would I not dare publishing this first book and this podcast? Moreover, I am way more awake and way more at ease writing than 5 years ago. But what happened then? April 1, 2020. It wasn't April Fool's, or maybe it was. However, I was Aquarius according to the Greek astrologers, a sign of air and flight, free as air. I was also horse in Chinese astrology, but I will only talk about the link between horse and freedom here. What had happened in the days before and after this date? I must admit that it took me several days, maybe 30, to understand how this happened. But I woke up free after 42 years, 1 month and a few days of searching for the meaning of my life. And I think I understood what happened well enough to be able to write a book about it. In any case, I feel today that I am humbly experiencing some awakening, something like what past and present philosophers likely experienced. Maybe it's related to my mixed home, to the love and music it brought into my life. Maybe it's linked to the beautiful city of Nice, where I've met so many beautiful people, colleagues, in both senses of the word, for someone from Marseille, artists and their works, especially contemporary and modern, places full of life, starting with the Love Temple in the Chambron Park. Maybe still. No, in fact, I now understand that each step, each meeting, each trip, each reading, each event, in short, everything that brought me to Nice on April 1st, 2020, played a role in the awakening that I have just experienced in my 40s. Midlife crisis, some would say. Revolution, I would say. This awakening can only be fully understood by those who have known it. I think about those who are free thinkers, men, women, and non-binary folks who are true, free human beings. Even though I had seen and read a lot of things about it, starting with the great philosophers and great cinematographic works, it was only once I had experienced this awakening that I was finally able to decode the links between all the elements of my matrix, the matrix in which I had been enslaved. The eclectic side of this list is probably related to the fact that I am a multimedia engineer. A few elements of philosophy on my path: Socrates' Know Thyself, and Plato's Allegory of the Cave, the happy life of Seneca, and the whole philosophy of Spinoza, Descartes' Sum ergo Deus est, and Nietzsche's God is Dead, Freud's psychoanalysis, etc. A few elements of American cinematography on my path. First, awakenings with the great Robert De Niro and Robin Williams, then The Matrix, the highly philosophical trilogy, the fourth episode is more difficult to seize, the Divergent trilogy, as well as the Hunger Games trilogy, the entire Star Wars saga, etc. A few elements of literature: Greek, Roman, or Scandinavian mythology, Candide and Zadig by Voltaire, Sophie's World, etc. A few elements of manga culture: Dragon Ball, Saint Seiya, Naruto, One Piece, etc. A few artwork pieces: Klein's Blue, The Three Worlds of Dala, the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, the Egyptian and Aztec pyramids, like the one in the Louvre, etc. A few musical elements: all the classics, including Baroque with Vivaldi in particular, all Latin music, including Mark Anthony's modern salsa, all pop music, from Madonna to K-pop to Jean-Jacques Goldman, etc. It is while writing this brief and non-exhaustive list that I have just realized how totally different my understanding of these works is today, with connections that I see between all of them. It is always the same story. It is the same nature that inspires all these authors, human nature. Awakening has allowed me to decode the matrix, to see associations that few see. One probably must have an association disorder for that. Between the blue and the red pill of the famous scene in The Matrix with Morpheus, I chose a non-binary way to answer, that is, not to answer. Neither angel nor demon, simply human. Truly human, one could say. The way to true happiness could also say Spinoza. For each work referenced, I could summarize in a few paragraphs why this work is linked to awakening. I may do so, but not in this podcast, which is intended to be concise and not intended to be a podcast of art analysis. However, this podcast is intended to be philosophical, so I will explain in short episodes, one for each philosophy mentioned above, how this philosophy is linked to awakening.